you just flew in today, I believe, so thank you for not taking an extra day to relax and coming right on stage and being such a trooper. I'd love to ask my first question to Angelina. What's the first Charlotte Rampling movie you saw?
I cannot tell you what was the first. Maybe Night Porter was the first, but I didn't see it in '73. I saw it a little later. I was too young back then.
Could you talk a little bit about, about approaching Charlotte to make the film and what the process was for sort of deciding how you were going to work together on this portrait, self-portrait through others?
Yeah, just during dinner I recalled our first encounter. It was in Paris and I was very nervous on the plane. And I thought, I'm going to meet Charlotte Rampling, and what am I going to say and what am I going to suggest, because she accepted to meet me after seeing some of my films. And I really thought I have to kind of come up with an idea that matches to who she was for me in the movies. And so I thought it would be more interesting to come close to Charlotte Rampling, like in a way that I get to know people in general, and that would be through subjects instead of just asking chronologically about her life. And so I probably in a very shy way suggested this to you. I don't know if you recall our first meeting. And then it was a long process. It took us 3.5 years to make this film, and it was worthwhile every minute.
But we were doing other things in between.
Right,
we weren't working on it for 3.5 years.
No, but the time period was 3.5 years.
Well, yeah, which is good. Yeah, because it took a long time really to find out in a way what we wanted to do, isn't it?
Right, because you were resistant to have a film about you, basically.
Yeah, completely. So it's sort of a miracle we're all here together tonight.
Is that because did you have a sense at the beginning that your work was already the biography, or was it something that you resisted? Or?
No, it was just that it was difficult to imagine how to do a film without it being ego-based, without it being traditional documentary style, with people going to interview other people and saying, oh, what Charlotte Rampling like, and this, that, and the other, and them giving their opinions about me. I wanted it to be a subjective view, but at the same time, a form of intimate analysis, just about the way I think and the way I think about things. Not necessarily me, but just about things, about life, obviously about my life as well, but also about life in general. And I thought that this was the only way, we decided early on, this was the only way that it could be possible to make a film together. Because otherwise it was going to be, for me, something I didn't want to show myself, in a sense, in that way. An actor doesn't really show himself. An actor uses other characters behind which he says he hides, and he does in a way, but obviously we are showing ourselves, but behind a character. And there is no character in this film other than me. I'm not hiding behind anything. I am what I am in this film, and that's what I wanted to be. So to be able to show what I am was quite a difficult enterprise, because it's not. It's probably one of the most difficult things for a human being to do, actually, that, either through writing or through a film or through to show who we are at a given stage in our lives.
And then in terms of collaborating, because obviously you're collaborating as well with your friends and family members that you're talking to, was that something that developed, I mean, in the way that the film is structured, of course, was the idea of the structure, the sort of discrete headings that would, of course, flow into each other, but was it always this idea that you would use different people to talk about these different areas in your life, or did that sort of arise as you created the project?
think it arose as we created the project, when Angelina had the idea of having the chapters. So we decided we'd have the chapters, but then she said to me, but you know, what are we going to fill the chapters with? Who are we going to fill the chapters with? And she said, well, I have to be in there, me. And,
which was already difficult, and then I asked you to bring in people close to you to see you interact with your dearest and nearest. And then you said, no, you wanted to talk to strangers, remember?
So are there hours and hours of footage with
well,
strangers?
this is one of the reasons it took 3 years, because, you know, things then would go into a complete funk and not be done for months, and Angela would have to come back and...
Yeah, because I can understand you were shy to give me phone numbers and email addresses of your friends, because you thought it might seem vain when somebody calls them and says, oh, we are making a film on Charlotte, are you in? I thought this was the reason that you didn't give me like the phone number of your son like only one day before I went to London and we were shooting the other day.
Yeah. It's sort of, yeah, and it needed to happen somehow in real time when we eventually did get together and say, well, we had 4 days where we could shoot in a particular city, and I would sort of, the person, I know the producer got very worried about it all the time, because well, who are you going to be having? Who is this person going to be? And I would sort of, it would almost be like the sort of 2 or 3 days before I'd just ask that person, you know, would they be in the film with me? Could we just talk in the film a little bit? Would you mind doing that? It's difficult to, I mean, I'm not going to analyze why I have to make a film in this way. You've seen the result tonight, and it's come about because I am a particular type of person. Each person has their own particular way of being and doing and being able to evolve in the world and actually function in the world and to create, say art, because I'm not going to say that I'm art, but create works. Not of art either, but works, like, about themselves, so they make themselves into the object of, not the art, but, can somebody help me? What? Yeah, film, right. You know, I just didn't want to make a film about myself, right? So I'm now trying to, now that it's made, I'm trying to sort of circle around it and say, well, but anyway.
She was really reluctant, I can say. I was witness.
And here's my witness. But what you've seen tonight, and when Angelina showed me the film, because I did have the power to be able to say, the producer, I did say to the producer, there's one thing I have to have, and I said that if I can't stand this film, I have to be able to burn it or get rid of it, or if I can't accept who I am when I see this film, I have to have the power to have the final cut, which he very gentlemanly gave it to me, which, as you see, I haven't used. And in fact, when I saw the first cut that Angelina and Bettina had done, I knew that was the film, so it was not, yeah, so I saw it once or twice.
It was a relief, I have to say, even though I thought it was worthwhile spending time with you and having these nice, vacations. But still, I was very glad that you could accept the result.
Which was the first conversation that you shot?
Actually, the last one in the film about love, the one in the,
that wasn't the
bistro. In the bistro.
Oh yeah, me on my own, no, not with
Yeah.
anybody, just the monologue, yeah.
Yeah, the
In
monologue.
the bistro right in the end was the first one we started with. Me on my own, yeah.
And when you were dealing with your friends, did you know which person when you would approach for each chapter, or did the chapters get created afterwards? In other words, were you like, this, I need to talk to Peter about exposure, or did the chapters come? Did you know the topics before, or did the topics come out of the conversations?
No, the topics were.
They were there.
They were there, and there was no rehearsals and there was no preparation, and the person that was asked had to say yes very quickly, and we had to shoot it very quickly.
And they knew that this was the subject, that you were going to
Yeah.
focus on a specific
Because
subject.
also it's not, I was asking people that don't normally do this. I'm not asking, wasn't asking professional people. These were just friends of mine who did other things than act, or they weren't necessarily very at ease with talking. And that's also very, I think that's very moving, because I just wanted people to be there and not actually conscious, not self-conscious of their image.
Were there other films that you wanted to include clips from that you weren't able to, that you felt spoke to the issues that you're tackling? Were there other clips from your work that you would have liked to include? And did you discuss? Was that a big part of the collaborations, discussing which sequences from your other work to use?
No, I left that all up to Angelina.
Do you like? I mean, you say here that you don't particularly like to revisit your work. You don't watch your work very much. Is it in the context of this? Is that hard to see?
No, in the context of this, I like it.
Otherwise, it's too. Is it the bits, or is it the fact that it's contextualized? Is it the fact that you're not having to watch the whole thing of yourself?
There we go again. No, it somehow works here. There's a rhythm that's very pleasing, and the fact that the film clips also play into the subjects that we're talking about is something I like very much. I thought it was very astute the way they were worked in.
Well, I'd love to open the floor up to questions from the audience. We don't